Yeah, so this is Bryson Jarrett. He's the man.
What's going on?
But he played a show here like last week, and it was off the hook. It was just like an acoustic set, but it was killer.
Thanks, man.
You know, I've been following you on Instagram, and I've always liked your stuff.
Thanks.
So I was excited that you were coming.
Yeah.
And then it was cool. We found out we have a similar job as well, connection.
Right.
So we're gonna go to Mexico together.
Yeah, we're gonna be chilling in Mexico in a couple weeks. So.
Yeah, so that'll be funny. But tell me about just like your backstory, man, like your history and you know why you're here right now.
With music?
Yeah.
You know what my life story? Just music.
Starting when you're 1 year old.
Yeah.
No, it's alright, man.
So, man, like, I guess how in depth do you want me to go here? I can start like in high school, or I can kind of start where this project started.
So you started in high school playing instruments?
Just like so basically, really quick story. The way I got into it, I played basketball all growing up.
Mm-hmm.
My senior year, my buddy was like, "Let's try out for the musical. It's Footloose. It'll be fun." I was like, "Okay, why not?" So I tried out for Footloose. I ended up, and I was just like wanted to be like a background something, just chill with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting the lead in the musical.
Alright, this is like High School Musical right here.
No, you don't even know. So it's crazy because the girl that was the lead literally moved from Texas that year.
That's so funny.
And we dated during like, anyway, so
you were living that movie.
Literally living High School Musical. But that's when I started getting like, I wrote songs after that, and that's when I first started getting into it. But I think to kind of explain where I'm at right now, what I'm doing right now, so I'm releasing an 8-song project called Horizon. And kind of the backstory for that is I got married in 2018. And we were married a year, and so in March of 2019 she left.
Mm-hmm.
We were divorced in May. She was engaged in June, and then got remarried in October of that same year.
Gotcha.
So that hit me like a ton of bricks, right? And so like I kind of disappeared from everything. I deleted my Instagram, deleted my Facebook. I was gonna quit music forever because I was just so like shattered by it. But
imagine you wouldn't want to do anything,
right?
You know.
But I would write songs just for myself to like. It was like kind of like my own therapy in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a year went by, and honestly, like it sounds kind of sad, but I was like in my basement just writing songs. Like that's what I did to just get through. And so about a year later, well, it's 2 years now, I took those 50, 60, 70 songs, whatever that I wrote, and whittled them down to 8. And
your 8 best ones?
What I believe are my 8 best ones, yeah. No, the 8 worst ones. I took what I consider the best 8 and kind of mapped it out like a story.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first song I released in April, it's called Ghost, and it's kind of like the heartbreaker, the sad song, like just how hard it is to lose someone and go through what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of goes through and tells the heartbreak and then some anger that was in there. And then it's going to go through and talk about getting over it, falling in love again, learning to like find myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So actually, it's song number 6 of 8 is coming out tomorrow, and that's about finding someone else and learning how to move on.
So you got 2 more after that coming out, right?
2 more after that, and so that's kind of like why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, right? Is telling that story, finding healing, hopefully helping others wherever they range in the scale of heartbreak or whatever they feel. Hopefully they can feel validated that pain is real and that it's okay to go through hard things, and hopefully they find some empowerment that you can get through.
Dude, what I love so much is that it really means something to you, your music.
Right.
You know, so many people just write something and they're like, I'm just gonna write a sad song today.
Right.
I mean, where does that come from? You know, I just like that yours is coming from somewhere real and it's telling your story, and I think that's why it hits harder, and I think that's why people resonate with it more, you know? So I just really respect that.
Thanks.
Why are you calling it Horizons? Is it just because you're starting a new horizon, or?
I kind of look at it as like, it's like going from night to day. So like with that divorce, it was the darkest nights of my life. And so, but the sun rises. And so this whole journey, I feel like, is going from that night, just pure blackness, like hopelessness almost in a way, to that horizon, the sun rising and like things getting better.
So what were songs like 2 through 5 about?
Yes, so we started with Ghost. It's hard to let someone go. It's hard to let that person go that you thought you were going to spend forever with, right? Song number 2 is called Fight For You. And I wrote, that one was actually the very first song written out of all of the like 67 that I wrote.
Oh, wow.
It's right after she left. And it was just me like, I mean, it takes two to tango, right? Like it's not like it was all her.
Sure.
Or even like 60-40, like it's definitely two people. And so basically, that song's about like, I'm gonna fight for you, I'm gonna fight for this. This means a lot to me. Track number 3 is called Someone Else, and that's about the pain of when she got engaged again and realizing that there was someone else involved.
Yeah.
And so that one's basically, I kind of like how I came up with this one, to be honest, is like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, you're someone's everything, and then they find someone else who becomes their everything, and then you're nothing but a someone else. And it can switch so quick. So that's kind of what that song's about, is that pain of realizing that they went to someone else, and now you're someone else.
It's gotta be like the hardest feeling to internalize,
it's hard,
right?
Yeah. Song number 4 is Message in a Bottle. And that one's kind of just talks more about, that one was kind of, and it changed a lot, but that was like, if I could write you a letter. Like, I know you don't want to talk to me, I know you're off living your life, but if I could just bottle up a message and float it to you.
This is what it would be.
Here's what it would say.
You just dropped the F-bomb, right?
Yeah.
You!
Not quite.
Times.
Not quite. That one actually started out as a rap when I first wrote it. And I just let out all the stuff that I wanted to say, and then, but obviously as I worked with my producer and stuff, we're like, oh, I'm not a rapper, so we kind of, molded it into what it is.
Okay.
And then song number 5 is called Kissing With Your Eyes Wide Open, and that one's a little bit more, like right after I found out about their engagement. I just had this line, like, you better kiss them with your eyes wide open, because when they close, you're going to see my face.
Hey.
And to be honest,
like that.
The song evolved into a very much like, screw you song. But it didn't start like that. It was honestly just more of this, like, there's going to be, at one point, everyone has to look in the mirror, and you can't run away from things.
I think you need to have at least one Screw You song, though.
Yes.
If it was you, it'd probably be only Screw You songs.
Right. Right. So that is definitely this kind of Screw You song.
Yeah.
So
that was really catchy, too.
Thanks.
I like that one. It got stuck in my head a couple times.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. That's 1 through 5. I don't know if you just want me to take you through the rest of them.
Yeah, if you want to just do it briefly.
Yeah.
Cool with me. Yeah.
Found You comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
That one, the main line is, I found you, make me want to love again.
Right.
And then after that comes a song called Your Eyes, which is again like, when you go through heartbreak, it's hard to trust that next person's not going to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And so that song's about, like, at the end of the day, I just have to look in your eyes and trust that you're going to be there for me.
Right. Which is extremely hard, I imagine. Right?
So hard. Well, I think it's hard for anyone. Like you're married. Like, it's still, like, you have to look at your wife and just be like, I just trust that.
Yeah.
I just trust you.
Well, my wife had, like, ex-boyfriends who would do stuff like that, so it's been hard for her to trust me because of her past experiences, so I can totally understand where you're coming from with that.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically the story line, song by song.
Dude, that's way cool. I love it. When can we expect the last one? When's the timeline?
There's not like a specific date. I think Your Eyes will probably come out in about 2 months, so like April, and then it'll probably finish up around May, and then go into the summer as like a complete kind of EP.
Right.
That people can listen to and
like combine. Because you're releasing it as singles right now.
Correct. Yeah.
And like, what kind of? I've only heard your acoustic set. So, like, what kind of production work are you doing on it besides that? Is it mainly just guitar and vocals, or are you adding things to it, or?
Yeah, I'm working with this producer Johnny T and S78, and we've kind of gone a little bit everywhere, trying to figure out like what my sound is gonna be. So Ghost is just piano, like electric guitars, and like very like no percussion.
Just like mellows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kissing with Your Eyes Wide Open is like hip hop.
Right.
Message in a Bottle is hip hop. Someone else's pop. I think ultimately like my production style is pop with hip hop influences in it. But it's always gonna have something emotional or some feeling kind of tied to it. It's kind of where
I think it's important that every song has like that edge to it,
right.
Even if it's just a little bit. You know, even if it's only the bridge of the song, it's got to have an edge, right?
Right.
And for you, that edge is just like the emotion, those one-liners that hit hard, that mean a lot to you. That's the edge to your music.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
Thanks.
And you're telling me like the studio you're recording at is the one the Foreign Figures use, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I just think that's so cool, man.
Yeah. No, they're awesome.
You're like good buddies with them now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could kind of quickly tell us how you met those guys, because you told me, and I just thought it was a really funny story.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. I've been a big fan of the Foreign Figures personally.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of them, check them out. Foreign Figures, they're awesome. But little plug for you guys.
I mean, they're one of the bigger bands to come out of Utah.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys have heard of them.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
But this was like 6 or 7 months after my divorce. I was at the gym and I saw Seth, who plays bass for them and sings, singer-songwriter, he does it all, but he's the bass player.
Yeah.
And I went up to him and I was just like, dude, I'm a big fan, and he was way cool. We ended up talking for like 30 minutes. I honestly think it's because he didn't want to work out. He wanted an excuse. But we ended up chatting and I told him a little about my story and like what I was writing songs about. And I just asked him, I was like, could I send you some songs to just give me your honest feedback? And he was way cool about it. He's like, yeah, here's my number. So I texted him the songs, and like they really weren't that good. Like I was very limited, like didn't know much about production. But he gave me really, really great feedback. Months went by. I was gonna start releasing these songs, so I contacted him again. I was like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I just wrote these in my basement. I'm heartbroken as hell. Like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, can you come help me kind of get these songs ready? So he comes over to my house. I got pizza again. Like we didn't even hardly talk about music. We didn't listen to any of my songs. We just talked.
Just hung out.
Hung out.
That's awesome.
And at the end of it, he's like, hey, we've never done this, but I'm gonna talk to my guitarist, who's also our producer, see if we can get you in the studio. Go to the studio. We're all vibing, and Johnny turns to me. He's like, hey, look, I want to do your 8 songs. And I was like, sweet. Cloud 9. We were supposed to play a show. I was supposed to open a show for them, but got canceled because of COVID. And they're honestly like really good friends. So.
And I think it's amazing they took the time out of their schedule to help like a smaller artist, because they're big. They didn't have to do that.
It blows my mind even to today. Like we were hanging out in the studio last week. And I'm like, these guys are so cool. I'm like so talented, and they like accept me. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's awesome. So,
dude, you just have the magic persona that they like accepted you in.
I guess they literally. I think one of them was saying I'm like the little brother that like got adopted into the band. Anyways, they're great. I'm really big fan.
At least you're in it, man. Like, I'd be fine being called the little brother as long as I'm hanging out with you.
Right, exactly.
Are they playing any shows at all?
They haven't recently.
No, okay.
Just because of COVID. Because they're playing bigger stuff and that stuff. I think the last one they played was Fork Fest, if you remember that, which is back in like September.
Right. And they play bigger amphitheaters and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And those are pretty much all shut down. So.
Right.
Cool. Well, I know you were telling me the other night that like, you want to make this a bigger thing, music. So I just kind of wanted to know like, what's your long-term goal with it? After you release Horizon and everything's done with that, like, what's your plan?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. I love writing songs, so like, I've got, not even kidding, like 100 demos of like songs. And maybe that's a lot, maybe it's not. But like I've got like 100 songs or so that I've been writing in the last year while this has been coming out. So I've got plenty of songs to choose from. It's just deciding, you know, which ones do I want to tell another story. You know what I mean? But I think I did have a realization, because at the beginning it was like, I'll just release these 8 songs and then we'll see what happens. But I think I've just realized, like, I love doing it.
Yeah.
Like, why stop? And so at the end of the day, I can't really control where this goes. Like, that's kind of up to people. Like, I can control certain things, but I think what I did decide is, like, I want to keep going because it fills my life with joy. Like, I love it, you know? So there definitely will be more music after this, and in my opinion, even better music, because I've matured a lot as an artist.
It's only gonna go up, man.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
But we'll just see kind of how and when is kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, so it's kind of loose up in the air for now, but it is a positive that you're gonna keep going. So that's good, dude.
It's gonna be cool, because I was talking to actually Johnny with the Form Figures about this, and kind of looking at these 8 songs and what's worked and what hasn't. What have people really resonated with and what haven't they? And then kind of molding my future stuff. Obviously still being authentic to myself, but kind of molding that based off of what's worked really well. And
So,
doing more of that.
Yeah, probably a lot of the people listening are musicians, so maybe you could give them some hints of what has worked for you, some things that you've seen, you know, that you could recommend to people watching.
Because, well, for musicians, like if I were to give any tips, I think the biggest thing is write 100 songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And pick 5 of them.
If everyone did that, oh man.
You know, because it really, like, I write so many crappy songs, like so many bad songs. But that'd be number 1. I think, honestly, like, just do it. Just release your music. Like, whether or not anyone listens to it, because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, you'll never know. And I think looking at it now, I'm on song 6. So we've still got 2 more after this to go. We'll see how people respond. But it's like, I'm going to have 8 songs that I can go back and say, okay, Ghost so far has performed the best. That was very much piano driven, electric guitars. So far people, all my stuff have resonated with the more acoustic, raw stuff. Rather than like, Kissing with Your Eyes Wide Open, is one of my favorite songs personally. But it's kind of like you said, Screw You, like hip hop, and that hasn't done as well. So maybe for my future stuff, what I should do is focus on what's worked.
Right.
And I think that's something I just, again, shout out to Form Figures, like we were talking about in the studio, that I really thought was cool is, as an artist, people will go and do these different things, and it's like, do what you do, look at what's worked, continue to build that bigger. Find what's working and do it bigger.
Good advice. You hear that, guys? Good advice.
If it's working, or if something's worked, why go off and do something else? Just like keep building that. Because it's like, you go to an artist, for example, like if you go to Sam Smith, like you're gonna go for kind of more soft, beautiful, like breakup songs. That's what he does.
It's like his brand,
Exactly.
his sound.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a sound, right?
Right.
Shape something that when people like hear the start of it, they're like, oh, that's this artist. I already know. So I'm glad you're like trying to find that sound. And probably by your next EP or album, like you'll have found it.
Yeah.
And that's when the killer albums get made.
Hopefully.
You just gotta write 100 more though.
Right. 100 more songs to get 8 more.
Exactly.
Right.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to like bring up about your stuff, past, present, future? Like any shows you're playing or events or anything you're trying to do?
Not right now. Like I said, just for a little plug of myself, check out my music at Bryson Jarrett on Spotify, Apple Music. Check me out on Instagram.
What's your Instagram? Just Bryson Jarrett?
Yeah, it's Bryson.Jarrett4. So feel free to DM me and, you know, chat, make some music, I don't know, hang out,
There you go.
get some tacos.
Get some tacos, man.
But you can't come to Mexico with us. We would have you come to Mexico with us, but unfortunately it's
We're out of
limited.
space. Sorry, guys.
We're legit though. We've got to do You gotta bring your laptop.
I'm gonna bring my laptop and my interface, and we're gonna record something on the.
We're gonna write a song, and that's gonna be a to be continued. It's gonna be a banger written in Mexico.
It's probably gonna be your best song.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be so relaxed and feeling happy.
Right.
You
Just
know?
the best emotions are gonna come out.
Cool. Look out for that, guys. Thanks for coming, dude, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks.